So there's one sort of abiding sense I have about being here in New Creation Community amidst my sisters and brothers here. That's the friendships. And that is that this is a rare and unique path to holiness. And when I look around, I can see a lot of different paths to holiness. You can look at people who are, members of their parish and very much involved in service there. There are people that are, members of religious communities, the third order, regular Franciscans and Benedictines, people who are, who are either in those communities or they affiliate themselves with those communities and they live by those rules of life, and those things guide relationships. And but I think so most of those communities have a goal in mind, and that's to bring people into a path of holiness, to get them to heaven. And I think New Creation Community for me is it's no less important a path. So this is for starters, nowhere do I get the sort of, first of all, being here, I believe I am living a sanctified life. That God, in my relationship with my wife, in my relationship with my sisters and brothers, takes the gift that I offer to him in the form of relationships, and he sanctifies it, and he redeems it. He understood what it was like to be in human relationships, and everything he experienced, he has redeemed. And so, so I find both the love that I receive, the encouragement that I receive, and sometimes the challenges that I receive from sisters and brothers here to be a means by which God uses the things that happen to me and in me and around with me in those relationships to be a way that he draws me closer in, and he brings a level of grace into my life that I would not otherwise have. And so I call New Creation for me a very special path to holiness. And we're doing this in a radically different way than most other communities have done throughout the ages. We have many, many similarities, but we have many differences. And that's that we choose to make ourselves accessible and vulnerable to one another in our relationships. We choose to expose ourselves, our relationships, our friendships, our marriages to one another. We make our lives open. And it does three things perhaps. One is that it allows us to experience the love of God, because people look at us and they love us anyway, despite our foibles and our, somewhat unsuccessful attempts to get things right. And the second thing it does, it allows us to be vulnerable in a way where we can experience grace and love without harsh judgment. We're all human beings, and we all, like many human beings, one of our primary exercises is rushing to judgment, right? That's jumping to conclusion. It's supposed to be funny. Okay. All right. So, but we have shown each other and extended each other extra grace. So that extra grace is, okay, I see maybe my sister and brother didn't do that quite the way I think they should have, but that's okay. I don't love them any less, and I'm going not to shy away from them, but I'm going to draw closer to them, because it's going to be in those closer relationships that the healing grace of God flows and is active. And so and I think the third thing it does is it really stands counter to everything the society and the world are throwing at us right now. There is a huge counterfeit approach to living authentically in love and grace, and to make yourself vulnerable and open to God's healing through the love and committed relationships of the people around you. It's not the way the world works. And so we're standing in a direct contrast to what the world, to what society, to what the media are all telling us to do. They would look at us and they would say, you fools, you fools, you've exposed yourself. You've shown your weakness. You idiots, you've made yourself dependent on somebody else. And so that's the kind of fool and idiot that I want to be. And that's my sort of foolishness and craziness, is to be exposed and dependent, because that's where I think the grace of God flows. So my sense is that this is a sort of a rare and holy space, and God called it. And he called us to be present to one another in ways that make us vulnerable, called us to be living witnesses and examples to each other amidst that vulnerability. And then he makes the center and strength and core of our relationships the very presence of the Spirit of God. So, if you want to live life in the Spirit, in a most authentic way, I'm convinced there's no better way.